Malachy Morgare was the first Irish saint to be canonized by a pope. He was known to have some supernatural miracles associated with him. He's most famous now for his prophecy of the Pope.
The ancient prediction from Saint Malachy regarding Pope Francis is gaining momentum, with 2024 already underway.
And in that vision, he saw 112 popes up until the tribulation time, till the end.
This prophecy suggests that Pope Francis might be the final pope, and it forewarns of an approaching apocalypse during his reign. But what implication does this hold for the present year? And could there truly be an apocalypse on the horizon if this prophecy holds true? Join us as we unravel St. Malachy's prophecy about Pope Francis and how it could all be about to unfold in 2024. Number 1. St. Malachy's shocking prophecies revealed. Malachy Morgare, the first Irish saint to be idolized by a pope, is most renowned for his prophecy of the popes. This ancient prophecy, attributed to Saint Malachy, foretells events related to the papacy, including a significant prediction about Pope Francis that is expected to unfold in 2024. According to this prophecy, Pope Francis is foreseen as the final pope, and it suggests that a calamity will occur during his tenure. But what does this mean for the current year? And is there a possibility that a disaster could indeed transpire if this prophecy holds true? St. Malachy's vision purportedly includes 112 popes, with Pope Francis being the last in line. Are we merely witnessing a mere coincidence, or should we heed this ancient forecast more closely? Legend has it that a prophecy exists, foretelling the entire lineage of Catholic popes, with the final one being Pope Francis. Saint Malachy, an Irish saint from the 12th century, was renowned for his unwavering faith. However, his most notable legacy stems from a vision he had in 1139. In this vision, he outlined a list of 112 future popes, each accompanied by a distinct phrase. The last pope on this list was referred to as Peter the Roman, identified as Pope Francis. This prophecy has sparked curiosity, prompting many to ponder whether we are currently witnessing the era of the last pope. If the prophecy proves accurate, what might unfold in 2024? Born in Armagh, Ireland in 1094, Saint Malachy held a significant religious statue in the 12th century. Join us as we explore the implications of the prophecy and contemplate what the future may hold if his predictions come to fruition. Becoming a significant figure in the Irish Church, Malachy was ordained as a priest in 1111. He swiftly gained recognition for his unwavering commitment to reinstating discipline and order within the Church. Malachy's fervent dedication to religious life propelled him to the position of Archbishop of Armagh in 1132. In this role, he tirelessly endeavored to align the practices of the Irish Church more closely with those of the Roman Catholic Church. Malachy's efforts to reform the Irish Church were particularly noteworthy during a period fraught with internal challenges, necessitating strong leadership. He was highly esteemed for his adept administrative skills and reputed miraculous abilities, further solidifying his reputation as a holy man. Malachy remained steadfast in his spiritual commitment, serving as a beacon of guidance and inspiration to those within the Church and beyond. But it was on his journey to Rome that the unexpected happened, and he experienced something extraordinary. Number 2. Malachy's historic pilgrimage. Malachy's journey to Rome in 1139 wasn't merely a pilgrimage. It was a multifaceted mission of significant historical and political importance. Apart from seeking cloaks for the bishops, Malachy aimed to address various pressing issues within the Irish Church and strengthen its ties with the papacy. During his time in Rome, Malachy also advocated for the reform of monastic houses in Ireland, which were facing challenges such as lax discipline and corruption. His efforts were instrumental in revitalizing the spiritual fervor and integrity of these religious communities. Additionally, Malachy's pilgrimage provided him with the opportunity to deepen his theological knowledge and engage in scholarly discussions with leading figures of the Church in Rome. This exchange of ideas not only enriched Malachy's understanding of ecclesiastical matters, but also contributed to the dissemination of Roman Catholic practices in Ireland. Furthermore, Malachy's reputation for performing miracles preceded him, and his presence in Rome attracted widespread attention. Many sought his counsel and blessings, further solidifying his status as a revered figure within the church. Overall, Malachy's journey to Rome exemplifies his multifaceted role as a religious leader, diplomat, and reformer. It underscores the interconnectedness of the Irish Church with the broader Catholic world, and highlights Malachy's enduring legacy as a pivotal figure in medieval Christian history. St. Malachy's role as a reformer emphasized his dedication to strengthening the bond between the Irish Church and the Vatican. However, what truly captivates people about St. Malachy is his extraordinary vision, a prophecy that continues to intrigue scholars and believers alike. This outstanding vision unfolded during St. Malachy's pilgrimage to Rome. As he ascended the hills of Rome, deeply engrossed in prayer, something extraordinary occurred. St. Malachy entered a profound state of trance, a spiritual experience that would leave an indelible mark on history. In this altered state, he reportedly received a vision of the future, a vision that delineated the succession of popes from his time to the very end of days. The mystical nature of this vision has fueled speculation and discussion for centuries. It offers a glimpse into the depths of St. Malachy's spiritual connection and his profound insights into the course of history. St. Malachy's prophecy remains a subject of fascination, inviting us to contemplate the mysteries of faith and the enigmatic tapestry of human destiny. Upon emerging from his trance, Malachy diligently transcribed the vivid images he had witnessed, ensuring the preservation of his prophetic visions for posterity. Despite his efforts, the prophecy remained concealed from the public eye for centuries, shrouded in mystery until its revelation in the late 16th century. During his mystical experience, Malachy beheld a series of Latin phrases, each believed to symbolize a successive pope. These phrases, spanning from Malachy's era to a distant future, culminated in the depiction of a pope who would lead during a period of profound transformation or turmoil, often likened to a biblical apocalypse. The prophecy meticulously outlines a total of 112 pontiffs, each representing a distinct epoch in history. The intricate details of this prophecy have captivated scholars and believers alike, prompting exhaustive scrutiny and analysis. Its revelation has prompted reflection on the nature of divine foresight and the role of prophecy in shaping the course of religious history. As the world continues to unfold, the enduring legacy of St. Malachy's prophecy serves as a testament to the enduring allure of mystery and the human quest for understanding. For centuries, St. Malachy's prophecy has been a subject of fascination and scrutiny among scholars, theologians, and curious individuals alike. However, it's the intriguing conclusion of the prophecy that has captured the imagination of people worldwide. Like how Pope Francis could be the last pope ever. Number 3. The fascinating history of faith. The mention of the 112th pope, often referred to as Peter the Roman, serves as the climax of St. Malachy's enigmatic vision. According to the prophecy, this final pope is anticipated to lead the church during a period marked by significant upheaval or transformation. This prophecy's mysterious implications have fueled intense speculation and debate, particularly as Pope Francis, the pontiff in 2024, is technically considered the 112th pope. This alignment with current events has only intensified interest in the prophecy's accuracy and relevance to contemporary times. Beyond its theological significance, St. Malachy's prophecy offers a window into the complex interplay of history, faith, and human interpretation. Its enduring appeal lies not only in its potential glimpse into the future, but also in its capacity to provoke reflection on the nature of prophecy and its role in shaping our understanding of the world. As the world continues to grapple with uncertainty and change, St. Malachy's prophecy remains a source of intrigue, prompting us to contemplate the mysteries of destiny and the enduring quest for meaning in an ever-evolving world. Is this prophecy more than just a historical oddity, If it holds true, it suggests a significant role for Pope Francis as the final pope. Born Jorge Mario Bergoglio, Pope Francis assumed his papal duties in 2013, and ever since, his every move has been closely scrutinized by those who are intrigued by the prophecy. Pope Francis holds the distinction of being the first Jesuit to ascend to the papacy. The Jesuits, also known as the Society of Jesus, are a Catholic order renowned for their focus on education, missions, and charitable endeavors. They are esteemed for their intellectual rigor and unwavering commitment to social justice. Understanding Pope Francis's background as a Jesuit is crucial in comprehending his approach to his pontificate. Historically, the Jesuits have wielded significant influence and have occasionally been viewed with suspicion by some quarters. Yet their dedication to service and intellectual engagement has left an indelible mark on the Catholic Church and the world at large. In light of Pope Francis's Jesuit roots, his papacy unfolds within a rich tapestry of tradition, innovation, and social conscience. Controversial figures within the Church, the Jesuits have often found themselves entangled in pivotal political and cultural events throughout history. This intriguing aspect of Jesuit history adds an extra layer of fascination to Pope Francis's papacy, especially when viewed through the lens of St. Malachy's prophecy. The Jesuits, formerly known as the Society of Jesus, boast a rich history marked by significant achievements, as well as notable controversies. This historical backdrop becomes particularly relevant in the context of Pope Francis, the first Jesuit to hold the papal office. To truly understand the significance of the Jesuits, it's essential to delve into their past, including their expulsion from various European countries. Founded in the 16th century by Ignatius of Loyola, the Jesuits swiftly rose to prominence. However, their influence was not without contention. Their involvement in various spheres of society, coupled with their unwavering dedication to their mission, often stirred debate and conflict. By exploring the complexities of the Jesuit experience, we gain insight into their multifaceted role within the Catholic Church and the potential implications of their actions. Their influence extended far beyond their original realms of focus, often entwining them deeply within the political and power struggles of their era. This involvement frequently led to clashes with national governments and other religious orders, as the Jesuits navigated a complex landscape of alliances and conflicts. By the 18th century, the Jesuits had ascended to prominence within European society. Their educational institutions flourished, and they wielded significant influence in intellectual circles. However, this ascent to power was not without its challenges. Suspicions began to mount regarding the Jesuits' allegiance and motivations. In particular, their close ties with the Vatican and their role as educators raised concerns among various European monarchies. Some rulers perceived the Jesuits as a formidable force that threatened their authority and autonomy. Consequently, these monarchs, fearing the Jesuits' influence, began to view them with increasing suspicion and hostility. Amidst this atmosphere of distrust, conflicts erupted, leading to the suppression of the Jesuit order in various European countries. These tensions underscored the complex relationship between religion, politics, and power in European society during the 18th century, shedding light on the intricate dynamics that shaped the Jesuits' role and influence. Interestingly, one event as predicted by St. Malachy has now been laid into the Catholic Church. Number 4. The Jesuits' remarkable legacy. The Jesuits found themselves entangled in political affairs, which led to a series of expulsions from major European countries. Portugal expelled them in 1759, followed by France in 1764, and Spain and its territories in 1767. Even the Papal States succumbed to pressure and suppressed the order in 1773. These expulsions were driven by a mix of political, religious, and economic factors. Monarchs and secular authorities perceived the Jesuits as a hindrance to their power and influence, prompting their eviction. These events significantly impacted the Jesuit order, forcing them to operate under restricted conditions and exile. It wasn't until 1814, that Pope Pius VII fully restored the society to its former status. Pope Francis's preach raises intriguing questions about the Jesuits' historical experiences and their enduring legacy in the Catholic Church. The Jesuit background holds significant importance in understanding Pope Francis's role within the Catholic Church, especially considering the order's rich history and distinctive characteristics. The Jesuits are renowned for their rigorous intellectual training, unwavering commitment to social justice, and adept navigation of complex political landscapes. Their past, marked by expulsions and conflicts, has instilled in them resilience and adaptability in the face of adversity. For Pope Francis, belonging to such an order with a tumultuous history may shape his leadership approach, particularly in addressing challenges both within and outside the Church. The Jesuits' expertise in education and diplomacy could profoundly influence Pope Francis's policies and reforms. However, this background may also pose its own set of challenges, given the historical tensions between the Jesuits and secular authorities or other religious factions. Throughout his tenure, Pope Francis has been a transformative figure, advocating for reform while simultaneously stirring controversy. His outspoken stance on issues like climate change and social justice reflects his commitment to addressing pressing global concerns. Pope Francis's papacy has been characterized by his outspoken advocacy for the marginalized and oppressed, echoing the Jesuit commitment to social justice. He has often emphasized the need for compassion and solidarity with those experiencing poverty, injustice, and displacement due to conflict or persecution. However, amidst his efforts to address pressing global issues, Pope Francis has encountered significant internal challenges within the Church. One of the most notable controversies during his tenure has been the handling of abuse scandals involving clergy members. These scandals have rocked the Catholic Church, leading to widespread condemnation and demands for accountability. Critics have argued that the Vatican's response under Pope Francis's leadership has been inadequate and insufficiently transparent, fueling public outcry and eroding trust in the institution. Furthermore, Pope Francis has faced resistance and opposition from conservative factions within the Church. His progressive stance on certain social and theological matters, such as marriage and communion for divorced individuals, has sparked contentious debates and divisions within the Catholic community. Despite these challenges, Pope Francis has remained steadfast in his commitment to reform and renewal within the Church, striving to navigate the complexities of contemporary issues while staying true to his vision of a more inclusive and compassionate faith community. The internal conflicts within the Church, particularly concerning topics like marriage and communion for remarried Catholics, contribute to the intrigue surrounding Pope Francis's role in St. Malachy's Prophecy. As we contemplate Pope Francis as the 112th Pope in St. Malachy's list, it's not just his actions and policies that are under scrutiny. His significance lies in the symbolic and historical weight of potentially being the last pope, according to the prophecy. Pope Francis's Jesuit background, along with the controversies and reforms during his papacy, has intensified interest in this ancient prophecy. As we approach 2024, a lingering question arises. How will Pope Francis's leadership align with the final chapter of St. Malachy's Prophecy? Evaluating the historical accuracy of St. Malachy's Prophecy becomes increasingly intriguing as we witness the unfolding events of Pope Francis's pontificate. To understand the prophecy fully, it's crucial to examine how previous predictions have matched with real-life popes. What makes this prophecy so captivating is how it relates to historical events and figures. As we progress through the list of popes, the descriptions become more detailed, especially as we approach modern times. For example, the prophecy's portrayal of Pope Benedict XV as religion depopulated resonates with the events of his papacy, such as the devastating impact of World War I and the Bolshevik Revolution. These events indeed led to a significant decrease in religious adherence in many parts of the world. Another compelling instance is the description of Pope John Paul II as "from the labor of the sun," a phrase that seems to align closely with his life. John Paul II's papacy coincided with significant solar events, including a solar eclipse on the day of his birth and another on the day of his funeral, adding an intriguing layer of coincidence to the prophecy. But what's probably most shocking is how these prophecies have come to have strong links to the present-day realities of the papacy. Number 5. The unusual links between prophecy and reality. The remarkable connections between the prophecy and real-world occurrences have astounded many observers. For instance, Pope John Paul II was born during a solar eclipse in 1920 and was laid to rest during another eclipse. These seemingly mystical links between celestial events and the lives of the popes have captivated imaginations. Pope Paul VI, referred to as pastor and sailor, was renowned for his adeptness in guiding the church through the tumultuous waters of the early 20th century. Another striking example is Pope Paul VI, described as the flower of flowers, which aligns perfectly with his coat of arms featuring 3 fleur-de-lis symbols. The precision with which these details correspond to each pope's respective phrases in St. Malachy's prophecy often appears too exact to be dismissed as mere coincidence. These intriguing parallels serve as a testament to the enigmatic nature of the prophecy and its enduring fascination for those who delve into its mysteries. As we delve deeper into the list of popes, it appears that the accuracy of the prophecies becomes remarkably precise, especially when considering recent pontiffs. This heightened precision has sparked lively debates and discussions regarding the legitimacy of the prophecy. It's as though the descriptions become more detailed and spot-on as we near the end of the list. However, it's essential to approach this discussion with a healthy dose of skepticism. Critics of the prophecy argue that interpretations are often tailored to fit the narrative after the fact. For instance, some suggest that the phrases used in the prophecy are intentionally vague, allowing them to be interpreted in various ways to match different popes. This retrospective fitting, critics argue, undermines the prophecy's credibility. The credibility of the prophecy is called into question further by skeptics, who highlight the lack of solid historical evidence confirming that St. Malachy authored it. Some historians even propose that it could be a fabrication from a later period, possibly created to influence a papal conclave. This perspective challenges the authenticity of the prophecy and raises doubts about its origins. Considering these skeptical viewpoints, it becomes evident that there are valid arguments casting doubt on both its accuracy and its true source. When discussing the prophecy, it's crucial to bear these skeptical perspectives in mind. They serve as a reminder to approach such predictions with a critical mindset. The section of St. Malachy's prophecy concerning Pope Francis carries themes that delve deeply into apocalyptic imagery and motifs. These themes add layers of intrigue and contemplation to the prophecy, prompting further exploration and interpretation. These themes have sparked widespread speculation about how Pope Francis's reign could be intertwined with end-time predictions. According to the prophecy, after the 112th Pope, significant turmoil or even catastrophic events are anticipated. This has led many to ponder whether Pope Francis's papacy might serve as a precursor to major global or spiritual upheavals. But here's what's more shocking. The Book of Revelation describes these events. Number 6. Malachy's prophecies in relation to the modern Catholic Church. The Book of Revelation describes apocalyptic events, upheavals, and the concept of Judgment Day. Some interpreters of St. Malachy's prophecy find parallels with these biblical passages, further adding to the intrigue and debate surrounding the prophecy's meaning and implications. Supporters of Malachy's prophecy argue that the portrayal of the final pope resonates with biblical depictions of the end times. Specifically, the prophecy's mention of Peter the Roman, who will guide the church through tribulations before the fall of Rome, bears resemblance to some of the apocalyptic scenarios described in the Bible. Examining this prophecy in the context of modern times reveals intriguing parallels with current events in the Catholic Church and global affairs. Under Pope Francis's leadership, the Catholic Church has confronted significant challenges, including ongoing issues related to clergy misconduct, internal conflicts within the Church, and the Pope's controversial reforms. Furthermore, global events such as climate change and political unrest add additional layers of complexity to the prophecy's predictions. Observing how these contemporary developments align with the prophecy's themes adds depth to our understanding of its potential significance in the present day. Unrest and social upheaval contribute to a feeling that the world is undergoing significant change. For those who believe in the prophecy, these events may be interpreted as signs that the predicted events are unfolding. However, it's essential to approach these interpretations with a balanced perspective. While the prophecy's apocalyptic themes may seem to align with certain current events, it's crucial to remember that interpreting prophecies is subjective. Different individuals and groups may perceive these connections differently. Some may see the events during Pope Francis's tenure as mere coincidences or as part of the ongoing evolution of the Church, rather than indications of an approaching apocalypse. Interestingly, Pope Francis is also the subject of another mysterious prophecy that many may not be aware of. This prophecy comes from Anna Katharina Emmerich, a German nun and mystic from the late 18th and early 19th centuries. Emmerich's vision spoke of a time with two popes, which she foresaw as a period of great turmoil for the Church. According to her, one of these popes would lead the Church. Number 7. The two-pope situation. The resignation of Pope Benedict XVI in 2013 and the subsequent election of Pope Francis marked a period of significant change and challenge for the Catholic Church. This historic moment set the stage for what has become known as the two-pope phenomenon. Benedict's decision to step down was unprecedented, as it was the first time in nearly 600 years that a pope had resigned, breaking the long-standing tradition of popes serving until death. This unexpected event sparked widespread discussion and interpretation within the Catholic community and beyond, especially among those who are interested in church prophecies. The situation of having two living popes, Pope Francis and his predecessor Pope Benedict XVI, is extraordinary in the history of the Catholic Church. Such a scenario has not been witnessed since the 1400s, and it brings with it unique circumstances and interpretations. The existence of two living popes raises questions about the continuity and leadership of the Church, as well as how the roles and influence of each pope may intersect or diverge. It's a fascinating and unprecedented situation that has captured the attention of many observers and sparked intriguing discussions about the future direction of the Catholic Church. The presence of two living popes, Pope Francis and Pope Benedict XVI, has sparked discussions about the leadership and direction of the Catholic Church. Some view this as potentially fulfilling prophecies, such as those of Anna Katharina Emmerich, suggesting that the Church is undergoing a period of transformation, possibly with intense changes. This era has seen significant shifts under Pope Francis's leadership, including reforms and a different approach to various social and theological issues compared to the more traditional views held during Pope Benedict's tenure. However, it's crucial to approach this situation with an understanding of the Catholic Church's long and intricate history. Such events can often be open to multiple interpretations. While the presence of two living popes is unusual and holds historical significance, it may not necessarily indicate the fulfillment of prophecies. The interpretations of prophecies, including those of Anna Katharina Emmerich, like those of Saint Malachy, are subject to debate and vary among different groups and individuals. Surprisingly, Saint Malachy was consistent in using a peculiar symbol in representing the Catholic Church across all of his prophecies. Number 8. The symbolism of Saint Malachy's vision. One intriguing aspect of Saint Malachy's prophecy, along with many historical prophecies, is the symbolism used to represent the future and the potential implications of these symbols for the Catholic Church and beyond. In the case of Saint Malachy's prophecy, there's an intriguing connection with eclipses, especially concerning the reigns of certain popes. This eclipse link isn't just by chance. For many who follow prophecies, it's a meaningful symbolic tie that adds to the mystery of these predictions. A striking example is Pope John Paul II. Saint Malachy's prophecy described him as de labor solis, meaning from the labor of the sun. Interestingly, John Paul II's life had a remarkable connection with solar eclipses. He was born on May 18, 1920, the day of a solar eclipse, and was laid to rest on April 8, 2005, coinciding with another solar eclipse. These extraordinary coincidences between significant events in John Paul II's life and solar eclipses give a certain weight to the prophecy's predictions, at least in the eyes of those who believe in its authenticity. The symbolism of eclipses in prophecy and mythology often carries profound meanings and associations. Throughout history, eclipses have been regarded as potent signs, often associated with change, transformation, or the occurrence of significant events. They've been seen as powerful omens, sometimes believed to foretell disasters or indicate major shifts. In the context of the papacy, these celestial occurrences happening in connection with the birth and passing of a pope, as noteworthy as John Paul II, can be interpreted as strengthening the notion of a divinely orchestrated plan, as outlined in St. Malachy's Prophecy. However, skeptics argue that these are merely coincidences. They suggest that eclipses, being relatively common astronomical phenomena, are likely to coincide with significant events if given a long enough timeline. Nonetheless, the fact that these coincidences align so neatly with the prophecy raises questions about whether they truly are just chance occurrences or part of a larger pattern. Believers in the prophecy often interpret events to fit their beliefs. During the same era as St. Malachy, another mysterious prophecy emerged, announced by Abbot Joachim of Fiore, born around 1135 in Celico, Italy. Joachim was renowned as a mystic and advisor to figures like Queen Constance of Sicily and King Richard the Lionhearted. Joachim's prophecies introduced the concept of three ages: the age of the Father, the age of the Son, and the age of the Holy Spirit, representing apocalyptic times. He believed the world was nearing the end of this third age. Unlike Malachy's straightforward predictions, Joachim's writings were complex and mysterious, making direct connections to known popes challenging. His prophecies often portrayed the popes as corrupt and morally ambiguous. One theory arising from exploring the broader implications of St. Malachy's prophecy is the connection to Mystery Babylon, a term originating from the book of Revelation in the Bible. It refers to a city rich in wealth and sin, symbolizing a corrupt and fallen society. Some interpretations of St. Malachy's prophecy suggest that the Vatican or Rome itself could be equated with Mystery Babylon, especially given the prophecy's prediction of Rome's destruction following the reign of the last pope. Moving beyond religious prophecy, Pope Francis's global impact cannot be denied. With his emphasis on social justice, environmental concerns, and inclusivity in the Church's teachings, he has influenced both the Catholic community and the wider world. The prophecy, with its apocalyptic overtones and mysterious predictions, has sparked discussions and fueled books, documentaries, and endless debates among believers and doubters alike. While real-life events seem to align with the prophecy, it remains to be seen whether it will come true. Regardless, the prophecy and Pope Francis's role in it present a captivating chapter in the history of the Catholic Church, prompting reflections on religious belief, the interpretation of ancient texts, and the future of organized religion. If you enjoyed watching this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more mystifying videos.